Welcome back to The Next Film. Today I am with Ksusha Genenfeld. She is a cinematographer, most known for A Wounded Fawn, which was a Shudder horror film that we're really going to dig into because it was shot on 16 millimeter. And that's why you were recommended to me from our friend Tom, who was a recent guest, episode 2. But you just had a feature at South by Southwest called Perfect. And then that was a feature, right? For some reason, I thought you also had a short there. You also had a short there another year.
No, that was the first time I had anything at South by.
Oh, wow. Well, congratulations.
Yeah,
first of all, I had a lot of friends there this year.
Yeah, a lot of people came.
I wanted to go. I ended up booking guests from out of town, so I stayed back.
You should have gone.
It was fun. Yeah. I definitely had FOMO, seeing all the things. Don't worry about it. Also, if it's a job...
No, I just...
we got to answer that. Careers come first.
I put it on Do Not Disturb.
They might. I think people can go through it. I don't know if that's true. If it's a pressing matter.
It's my Steadicam operator calling me.
If you need to get to it, we can jump back in.
It's fine.
Is this on your next film coming up?
No, I'm just doing a music video this weekend.
You did a lot of music videos too, as well, right? Before going into narrative.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of how I started doing music videos and short films. And
cool.
Kind of went right into feature films. And,
Yeah, not to jump all over, but when did you start working on film?
On film, meaning...
Shooting on film.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, I started working with film back in college. I think when I really started shooting and being a DP, I was always just so fascinated by it. And we had a class at LMU, where I went, and people had options. And of course, I was like, well, I have to shoot on 35. I have to shoot on 16. I just always found it so...
Yeah.
I don't know. It's magical to me.
I love that. That's I've had 2 guests on now to talk about film, and that's exactly all the words that they describe. It's just magic.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
It's I understand the technology behind it, but when you still see it happen and you get the celluloid, it's still you're whoa. Yeah. How does this work?
Yeah. No, I feel the same way about it too. I don't really, because I'm not a very tech person. I bow down to you DPs because lighting and stuff is just I don't have that eye, you know? I know story, I know character. I started as an actor first and a writer first. And I know that you started as an actor first too, right?
Yeah.
Which I do want to dig into because I just wonder how that might inform choices that you make.
Totally.
But yeah, anyways, I don't understand any of the tech of it, but I just am so drawn to it for some reason. And I do think it's just that magical aspect that you can't articulate.
Well, I think there's something cool also about knowing the technicality of things because it makes other people think that what you do is magic or very difficult. And I think you get to really, be this person of knowledge that can translate words into tangible things, which I think is really cool to be able to do that for directors and writers.
Yeah. I mean, you are the expert in that. We come to you for that, so that's very true. You also made a feature called Motherland.
Yes.
Which stars my voice teacher from school, Miriam.
Oh my god.
Yeah, small world.
I love Miriam.
Yeah, it's always a small world, but it never stops surprising me. I felt like we had a lot of mutuals already.
Yeah. It's crazy how small the industry is when you really start looking around.
And the longer you're in it, it's just you're always 1 or 2 degrees separation from everyone.
Totally, yeah.
And then in 2025, Ksusha won the Editor's Eyeball Award, the Fangora Chainsaw Awards, so many names for it. Known for her work on A Wounded Fawn, she was recognized as an unseen hero in horror filmmaking for her work with 16 millimeter, which is so cool. And then you were also... a couple of years before that, you were nominated for Best Cinematography.
Yeah, that was nuts.
Yeah, against literally the top films of that year.
It was crazy. It was A Wounded Fawn, Nope,
right.
X.
I was I knew it was how do you say his name?
Hoyte van Hoytema.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was about to try it, and I was I'm gonna mess it up.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
I feel him on the name. I'm same. But yeah, it was crazy. It was Nope, X, Pearl, Men. And
which stars the Oscar-winning actress this year, Jessie.
Yeah. So it's just
and
then my name.
Yeah, that's so cool.
And it was also bizarre because I also felt really honored because I was the only woman on the list too. Just being against.
Why did I not realize that?
And then having my name be right next to Hoyte's name is just wild.
I bet it was that like maybe like top career thing so far.
Totally. It was crazy.
Yeah, no, that's incredible.
I was like, I'm definitely not going to win, but I'm just so honored to be on the list.
100%. I mean, like also winning things is like, yeah, it's cool, but it's like getting recognized for your work is the main thing, which you were, you know?
Yeah.
And that's, yeah, amongst that list. I mean, it is a beautiful film. Like I couldn't, like when I was watching it with my fiance, there was just like so many little things. I was like, oh, that looks so good. But it was like something terrible was happening. I think it was like her throat was ripped or something. And I was like, that looks great.
Yeah.
And he was like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, I'm watching from a different lens right now.
I have a friend who is like, that's horror movies are her comfort movies. And her partner always makes fun of her because she'd be like, I need to watch something that just relaxes me. And then you look over and she's watching like people's heads being ripped off. And
yeah,
like,
there is.
That's your comfort? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I do feel like there are a lot of people like that. Like, and I don't actually understand it. I only recently came into loving horror films. I didn't grow up like that because I get scared really easily. Which is why sometimes when I've like acted in like scarier things, like I'm not acting, like I'm actually scared.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's just go ahead and dig into that one because it's also fresh on my mind since we just watched it this week. But was 16 millimeter always the initial choice?
Yeah, always. When I first met with Travis Stevens, who's the director, he came in to me specifically because I've been doing so much work on 16. So I think that's partially why I ended up getting the movie.
Nice.
So that's always been like a non-negotiable. He was always like, I want to do 16. He's inspired by Giallo, 70s films.
Yeah.
So to honor the genre, we were always going to do 16.
Yeah, it definitely, you could feel that inspiration in it.
Yeah.
Which
but it was crazy because when it was my first movie ever as a DP.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, my first feature.
Oh my God. And then to get nominated with the like Oscar winning,
it's nuts.
DP.
But my DP mentor, when I told him about the movie, he was like, well, it's your first movie. You should talk them into not doing it on film because, you know, you're going to be learning a lot and it's so many things that could go wrong. And I was like, fuck no, I'm doing it.
Okay, I love that
know?
so much. Hell yeah.
I'm like, this is what it's about. Yeah. I also feel like I'm sure you can relate to this too, when you make your first movie, there's so many unknowns. And I feel like you as a filmmaker make bolder choices because you just don't have the knowledge of the failure that could come from it. So I think you become a bit bolder and you just say, fuck it, I'll do that. You know, I'll make this. It's like, this is what I envision. And I feel like every time I watch that film back, I'm always very like surprised by how brave I was with cinematography on that movie. You know,
do you still try to inform that then going forward of like sometimes knowing too much? It's like kind of get back to the beginner's mindset and like be a little more bold or try not to be so, you know, perfect about things.
Yeah, I feel like I try to do that as much as I can. And I get inspiration like that from my directors. Like this movie that just went to South by with Millicent Hales, who directed it. She was very much like that. I wanted to make bold choices. And just even with the budget that we were working on, like the asks that she had were definitely, you know, tough to achieve, but I think because she had this whimsy about her and she really wanted, it was her first feature. She was just like, let's just do it.
Well, because you all had Julia Fox, right?
Yeah.
In the film? Yeah.
So that was, but she took no, like didn't take no for an answer.
I love that.
So I was like, well, I guess I better deliver. So we just, you know, broke so many rules in the best way and got really awesome shots because of it.
Nice. When is that coming out? Do you know? Or is it just going to do the festival route first?
I think it's still doing the festival circuit.
Okay.
And then I think hopefully we'll hear soon about the release.
Yeah, what's the premise or the genre? Because I don't know much about it except for South by and Julia.
Yeah,
and
it's a coming of age drama about romance. And it's about this younger woman who comes into town looking for kind of like a new life, and she meets Julia Fox's character Mallory, and they fall in love, and they have kind of this tumultuous relationship. And,
very cool.
And then you have to watch the rest to see what happens.
No spoilers.
Yeah.
I was just curious because your work kind of spans across all different types of genres. It seems.
Yeah, totally. I started in horror.
Okay.
And then
what other horror films?
I did. The Beldam.
Oh yes. I haven't seen it, but I've seen the poster and promos for it.
Yeah, that's one of those films that I think is so close to my heart.
Oh, really?
Of just how it all came to
that
me.
one.
No, it's just that was like labor of love, truly. And the director Angela Gulner, who I worked with, has become one of my closest friends, and we're working on something soon coming up that's really exciting.
Nice.
And we're always like it was just so fun to create with her because we are very similar in our style.
That's important.
So it was very great to kind of be able to like finish each other's sentences.
Oh, I love that.
It was cool. And everybody, we just had met like the week before we start filming, and everybody was like, you guys are like have been friends forever, right?
Oh, that's the best.
Like, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
A week. We met a week ago. Yeah.
I love when relationships like that just like easily, are birthed like that.
know.
And then, I mean, especially like the director DP relationship, which we will dive into all of that because I think that's such an important relationship.
Totally.
Yeah, I've worked with the same DP on all my like shorts in my first feature, which is great. But now wanting to transition to film, and he doesn't work on film, I am moving forward, without him. But I mean, it's just that relationship is, we were kind of the same way where like I didn't have to say anything. Like he just kind of knew, we were also from like the same hometown. So we shot a lot of our stuff in Ohio. And, but yeah, I think finding a relationship like that is just like so crucial for our film. But, going back to, where did we even, because we started on A Wounded Fawn, but we've kind of come off. Oh, because Perfect. I wanted to know more about
genres.
It. Yeah.
Oh, and Perfect is also really, what I love about that movie and why I think it's kind of radical is Julia Fox's character is pregnant, and she's like 7 or 8 months pregnant in the film. So you get to see like queer love on screen and pregnant women like having sex, which I feel like is something you don't really get to watch. So it's cool to just show a woman that happens to be pregnant who has like desires and goals for life, and not just like this person who is carrying a child.
Right. I love that so much.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
We will all look out for that.
Yeah. Go watch.
Whenever it's available. Yes. Yeah. So Wounded Fawn, it was set on 16. So your first feature too, crazy. What did that prep look like? Like how, early on did you come on board? Things like that. What did the discussions look like early on?
Yeah. Well, we met about maybe 3 months before we shot. And then when the movie went, I flew out to New Jersey, which is where we shot. Okay. And we had maybe a month of prep.
Nice.
And yeah, I mean, me and Travis spent almost every day together talking about the story and the approach. And it was really great working with him because I learned so much. And I feel like the tools that I learned from him, I still utilize with like, moving forward with people. But
do you have any specifics?
I think the thing that I learned from him that really, I think, makes me a better DP is learning more about the story. He was very adamant about going through the script and talking about each character and their arc instead of diving right into cinematography.
I love that, yeah.
And it was so nice to just talk story and ask questions like, why is this scene here? Or is the main character feeling this way? Or and that really informed the cinematography. And he also taught me about creating rules. Like I do that still all the time. You create rules on how you shoot a character. We create a rule of, we did that on the Beldam too, where because the main character is confined inside a house, we created a rule that you never see her in a clean shot. So she's always either like over somebody's shoulder or there's always a wall dirty in a frame. Something that makes you feel like she's more confined. So like things like that I learned from him.
Oh, cool. I love that.
That I think are just really fun. And I think those kinds of things they're not obvious, but I do feel like the audiences feel them on a like subconscious level.
No, I always think like little choices like on how you shoot something, whether it's like handheld or, other things or like a lighting choice, like all those little things. You don't want the audience to notice because you want it to be subtle, but you also want them to feel it. And I do think we do. Yeah, I felt like when watching that, I remembered typing down something, I don't have it here, but about the like suspense that you're building in close-ups. I felt like there was like a lot of like every time I was getting really scared, it was like because you weren't allowing, like we could feel something was there, like something was coming, but like you kept us so close to the characters or like to the walls. Do you remember if those were any like discussions or choices?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we really played with close-ups because I feel like sometimes the less you see, the scarier things are.
That's how it felt. Yeah.
Having a figure in the shadow where it's not very lit, but you just see something there. I mean, I think, each movie has its own language and is so different, but A Wounded Fawn was definitely like lots of inserts, lots of close-ups. Because I think the characters going through so many changes throughout the film, we really wanted to like see their faces. I mean, Travis used to say like, I want to see the color of their eyes, even if it's dark. I want to really just be that close that you see everything. So that's what we did. Yeah.
Yeah. I loved the look of it. Like it felt, I don't know, like I think there is this like thing with like newer cinematography or like, the streamers who like try to keep it all consistent, but it's so bright or like so just like not.
Yeah.
I mean, they try to make it look realistic, but it also feels like, I don't know, but I love that this felt like real and gritty, and there were shadows, and the blacks were so beautiful. Like I loved all the night scenes when they were on the roads or in the forest. Like I really enjoyed a lot of the night scenes. The reds were gorgeous. Every time there was blood, I was like, oh, that is a beautiful hue of red. That is such good blood.
I mean, we pushed the look so much. It's definitely the craziest movie I've done. Like,
really?
Yeah, the one that is just like looks so bold and kind of nutty and very gritty. A lot, like the grain is intense on it.
I liked it.
But we were just like, we were in the color grade with a colorist I work with all the time. His name is Alastair Arnold, and he's incredible. He's done like The Green Knight and Anora.
Oh, nice.
And he's like the real deal, So really always grateful to work with him. And he's a wild one. So he's always like pushing for like more and more like darker and more saturation.
Are you always in those color sessions?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. It's so fun to really push the look, and I think it was important because like going back to, the whole giallo references and style, Argento movies are all so saturated and bold and brighter, but still have shape to them.
Yeah.
Which I really love. Like I love creating pockets of light so that it feels contrasty, but it also, you can see what's going on. You could read people and their emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you're talking through the story with him too, are you now also bringing in any actor perspective that you have to kind of inform choices?
Yeah. I mean, I think that probably comes on set.
Okay.
But I think because I used to be an actor, I'm definitely very sensitive, but also collaborative with the actors because I know what it feels like to be on the other side.
Yeah.
And I just feel like when they trust me and they know that I can represent them in a good light, they will relax and give a better performance and not have to think about that and just be more like grounded in the scene.
Yeah.
And so I always want to make sure that we have a really good relationship. And I've also learned so much from actors. I love to have them dictate where they go and like the blocking, because I think that's really the true magic of movies is instead of telling an actor, oh, I set up my light there and it looks beautiful, why don't you go there? I love when you can just do a rehearsal and you could see the actors make the choices, because I think those are always the ones that are grounded in the character.
Yeah.
And because of that, the performance can be so much stronger and the movie feels more real.
Yeah, I love that so much. Because that's so true. Because like a lot of times too, when you're like trying to do it because something's the way it's lit or because it's, the way it's set up, and it's like actors feel like they have to like shrink or do something a certain way that doesn't feel natural. And, even though it's an actor's job, because I'm also an actor first and I still act in my stuff. So it's like sometimes it is our job to make it real. But at the same time, it's like when crew members, directors, EPs can cater to a performance, because that's really like at the end of the day, like one of the most important, like if the performance doesn't sell it, like nobody has a movie.
Totally.
So letting them kind of figure out and then let that inform the choices, or, let them see what feels real and then light around that, or figure out, the blocking or the design around that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I don't hear DPs ever talk about that, or even think about that, like DP actor relationship, like we're always talking about like director actor relationship, but that's like a whole nother thing that I think should be important.
It's so important because as an actor, I feel like I've worked with so many cinematographers that never really took that into consideration. And I think because I've had that I have that perspective, I've always been of the mind like I want to do the opposite. I want to make the actors feel like, because we're all making a movie together, and like on the Beldam, this amazing actor Katie Parker, she had this amazing idea. We were doing a scene where we had to walk with each other, and she had done this movie previously where her and the DP had a really close relationship, and so she wanted to kind of have that with me as well. And she was like, "Can I hold you?" Because I was doing a handheld move, and I was like, "Can I hold onto you as I walk? Like I want us to have this symbiosis. I want us to feel connected as we walk together." And that's something I've never done before. And that was really cool too. I'm like, this is really interesting. Like, you know this, obviously. You learn so much with every new person you work with. And that's also like such a gift.
Yeah, definitely. And so what lessons then, I know we talked about a couple from A Wounded Fawn, led into these next choices like Perfect and these other features that you've done since?
I feel like it just makes me more confident in the choices I make. And I feel like the more movies I make, the easier those conversations are with directors. I just feel like every movie is so different. And the director always has such a different approach. But I think just, from learning all that and going back to the roots of like, I always, whenever we have initial conversations, I'm always like, let's talk about the rules of the movie. How do we see our characters? Like, what are the lenses that we choose for them,
But it's still like based off like a character and an emotional standpoint. Yeah, I love that.
I always say like I'm an emotional filmmaker in terms of the way that I approach projects. I'm very technical as well, but I think for me, having the right language for the movie that really can convey a feeling that we're all trying to, get to, it's more important than getting like a perfect shot or getting the perfect scene or the perfect light. I just feel like it's not really about cinematography. It's about shooting the right movie and having 100%. The right look. And I think that's something that I've learned over the years. It's not everything has to be beautiful and perfect and gorgeous. It's sometimes when you're in a nasty scene or a scene that feels like rough and raw, you want the lighting to reflect that. You want the cinematography and the composition reflect that.
Definitely. 100%. I love that.
Yeah.
And then in terms of like, what in your ideal situation would be that like director DP relationship? Like how would that look like in your ideal situation?
Oh my God. I don't even know.
Because you're saying too, like, a lot of the choices that you're making, it's going to depend on obviously the movie, but also like how the director likes to work.
Yeah. I think the most ideal relationship for me that is director-DP relationship is when a director can trust me and they give me agency to make choices. I also think it's very important for a director to know the vision and have clear ideas. So then I can take that and translate it into cinematography language. But I love when a director can just trust me and let me make my choices. And I can always come back to them and check in and, ask like, do you like this? How does the lighting look? Or, but I think that's really what makes a great leader for a director is somebody who can trust their crew. And give them all, ideas or things that they need to get to, but also give them the authority to make those choices. I feel like I do the same with gaffers. Like as a DP, I don't love to micromanage anybody. I feel like that becomes so uncreative and uncollaborative. And why I love making movies is to collaborate with people and get their ideas. So whenever I work with my, gaffer or key grip, I tell them the vibe of the shot. I tell them what I want, the kind of lighting I want. But I would never say, like, let's use this unit or let's do that. I mean, sometimes I might, but most of the time I want them to also come with ideas and figure it out.
Yeah.
And that's like, again, like going back to the magic of making movies is people have ideas that you might not have thought of. And then they bring that to the table and then you're like, yeah, let's do that.
100%. I always feel, I mean, people are there to like elevate the vision, and everyone, like every department will have their own vision too of the overall vision. But like when you I mean, it's also about like hiring the people around you that you vibe with, that you trust, and then once you find them, trust them. Let them help you elevate that, because everyone's there to make the best movie.
And I always say, hire people that are better than you.
Oh yeah.
Like always.
That's always what I've done. I
think when I started out, I was always nervous to work with people that are better than me or have more experience. But now I'm like, no, I'm going to hire the best person who knows more than me, so then they can help elevate my work and I can learn from them.
100%. And I mean, usually, you push yourself too, so you can rise to that level.
Yeah, totally. It's I think that's like the best advice I've ever gotten is be honest with your crew and ask for help and lean on them, because I think when you tell your crew, hey, I've never used this piece of gear, I need your help. Like, make me look good in front of producers and directors. They're always your vulnerability in saying that, I think, makes them want to help you more. And I was like, I got you. Like, we'll make you look really good, and yeah. And I think people inherently like love to help each other.
Definitely. At least the right people.
At least that's what I try to think, try to tell myself. Like, I think...
No, I think so too. And I think staying true, like even if you encounter one person that's not like that, like it doesn't speak for everyone. So I think still leading with that mindset.
Yeah.
If that's how it all is.
Yeah.
And then do you always like pick your crew, or do you usually walk into, it's already chosen, like people are hired? Or
I'm very picky. So I always pick my crew.
I love that.
Picky. I definitely take recommendations. Like we did a movie in Oklahoma and there was a lot of recommendations, but I did kind of interview them and talk to them and see who I vibe with.
Because you are union, right?
Yeah.
So then working on a union movie, you're having to hire like the local people when you go on set, I'm assuming, or...
It depends. Like some movies I've done were not union and some have been. But either way, you just...
The union stuff always confuses me. I know actors union, like I'm SAG, but like I just recently learned more about the casting union, because our casting, like we'll be a SAG movie, but I don't know if we'll be using any other unions, but our casting directors union. So I was like, when I was trying to translate and figure out that language, I'm like, wait, why does the union work like this? Like SAG is so different.
Yeah.
So like I'm still learning about the whole, like the locals and our DP, like union DPs allowed to do non-union projects.
Yeah, we
See,
are.
I didn't know that, because we're not allowed to do non-union projects.
Yeah.
Unless it's like got the SAG agreement on it,
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit easier for us to do non-union
Got
stuff.
it. But yeah, I interrupted you. You were talking about Oklahoma and interview.
I forgot
crew.
what I was...
Well, that you're picky about picking your crew, which is as you should be.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm assuming, is that like, because I mean, I would always want I let my camera people like choose who they're going to work with, because they're going to be working with them more than I am.
Yeah.
So it's like, I want you to pick the people that you want to work with. But I don't know if that's always the case.
I mean, I definitely push for that.
Yeah.
I think it's tough sometimes to take recommendations from producers because they might not know certain things about that department. So they might recommend a crew member who's like, they're really sweet and they're great. But then it's like, but are they a good gaffer?
Yeah.
And I think that's why like I tend to do as much research as I can, or ask my DP friends that I trust about crew.
Yeah.
But also like, sometimes I just go off vibes, which I know is kind of nutty, but
not really.
Like if you have,
because that's all, I mean, on set you're with that person for 12 hours, hopefully not more, but like around 12 hours a day, like the vibe is important. And also we have instincts as well. So trusting that instinct.
Yeah. I obviously look at their body of work and I could see, okay, they've done enough projects that I know that they can do the job. But then, often I just get on a call and I just see if like we have a good relationship and be like good conversation.
Yeah. I mean, I've definitely, especially on my shorts, but even on my feature, like I've hired like first and second ADs that didn't technically have experience, but first of all, they're women. So I'm like, you know how to run shit.
Yeah.
But also I'm like, just knowing who they are and like getting a sense of like how they work, how we work together, like they understand the set. I'm like, you got it. And I can trust you because, and like now, they can now have that experience moving forward. But a lot of times it's not just the resume. It's about like, what qualities do they bring to it? Are they also like, your relationship to them, their excitement about the project, things like that.
Yeah. And like, speaking of women on set, I like always try to bring as many women as possible. Always.
Hell yeah.
My last movie, my last movie was mostly all women crew.
Perfect.
Yeah, women gaffer, women first AC.
Let's go.
And then on Motherland, also the whole camera team were all women except our camera operator.
Amazing.
Yeah, we had it was a 2-camera show, so our other camera operator was a woman. First AC, second AC, other first AC, other second AC, loader, utility, all women. It was awesome.
What's your like ideal situation for a crew size?
The more the better. No, I'm just kidding.
Is it? No, I mean that can be an answer.
No, that's not true. I think it really depends on the movie.
Okay.
Because I've done 2 different types of movies where we have either not many days but a lot of crew, or we have a lot of days and small crew. That's what we had for A Wounded Fawn. We shot for 38 days.
Oh wow, nice.
And we had a small crew.
Okay.
But that was just perfect.
Yeah.
Because we did 3 pages a day.
Oh my God, wow.
To me, that just worked so well.
Because there was only like 1 or 2 locations in that too, right?
Like maybe 4 or 5. Yeah.
Okay. I just remember the first house and then the second house.
Yeah.
I guess there was like the auction and
the gallery.
But mostly like once you get to that house, the remote house, it's pretty much all there, right?
Yeah. There's the forest. Which was, we did 8 weeks of overnights.
Oh gosh.
Like that's 8 weeks, just full on nocturnal.
That's a lot.
Yeah. But our crew was like,
nice.
We were like a little family and it was a small crew.
Yeah. When you say small, how many are we looking?
We had first AC, second AC loader.
Okay.
And then
film.
Yeah. And then our lighting department was gaffer, key grip, +1.
Nice.
Sometimes we got a swing.
Yeah.
So like 5 people on lighting and grip and 3 people on camera.
Yeah. My first feature, I mean, it was digital, but it was even smaller than that. I mean, I think our whole entire crew was 7 to 8 people.
Oh my God.
The whole
time.
But
that's amazing too.
I mean, it was also like, well, we made a short together, like the majority of us, like my sound, my DP, his first AC, who they grew up making films together. So they already had like a language. And then the like producer who's also an actor, but sometimes he was a grip and a gaff if he wasn't in the scene, like he would hold, or like move a C-stand. And then, I mean, it was also kind of during the COVID era as well. But yeah, for the most part, it was just like my DP, AC, we at least had like 1 or 2 like grip gaffer, but they would just kind of go back and forth. And then sometimes we would bring in like 1 or 2 people on a bigger day. But that was pretty much it.
That's awesome. Like, I feel like the small crew size, it's
I mean, it's a family.
It's a different experience.
Yeah.
Which I think sometimes can be better. It makes the film, because I think the intimacy of the crew also makes the film better sometimes.
Yeah. Well, it definitely felt like we had a language, and we actually, most of us did a short together, like just a couple weeks after wrapping our pickup shoot.
Oh my God.
And it was just so easy. I was like, are we sure we're done? Because that felt too easy, like doing a short film after a feature. But like we also just were like a machine at that point.
Totally.
That we finished it in 6 hours, which is crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it was a short, but still.
Yeah.
It was just like the easiest shoot ever once you get that like language and like moving and grooving together. But 38 days though is a lot. That's cool.
It's the longest movie I've ever done. I got spoiled
because moving forward you're like.
Then my second movie was 15 days.
Oof. But bigger crew?
No, that was also smaller crew. But like Motherland was key grip, gaffer, and they each had 8 people.
Oh wow.
and then like 2 camera, department. So that one we shot that in 19 days.
Okay. That's not terrible. I feel like a lot of films.
Yeah, but it was great. It was like we needed the crew because our setups were really big. The rooms we're shooting in were all really big, like big hallways and huge like gyms and.
Okay, so it's also going to be the shots that really inform what crew size you want.
Yeah.
Is that something that you would push back on if like a producer or director was like, oh, this is what we were thinking for like the crew size and like budget wise, and if you're like, well, these shots that we're discussing, like we might need to bring in more people at least on those days, or?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
I think, yeah, we always do a breakdown and see, do a one-liner and see what our schedule looks like. And then if it's a big scene, we have like, 100 extras or something like that. You have to have a lot more people.
Yeah, and coordinating and things like that.
But I've also done that on movies where if I'm brought in very, very early on and they tell me, here's the amount of days we have and here's the crew. I've done that where I've suggested saying, what if we make our crew smaller and add a couple of days? Or opposite.
Yeah. And how has that response been?
It depends. Sometimes they're like, no, this is what we're doing. So I'm like, okay, well, we'll figure it out. I guess we'll have to just get additionals.
Yeah.
But then I've had movies that have like done that and added a day and, maybe kept some crew for some days and then made a smaller crew for some.
Yeah, I think when people are starting to make their first features, or I'm still figuring out what the audience is of this podcast anyways, in terms of it seems like it's a lot of people doing like their first or second features. And, I'm going from my first feature was a little under 200K. This next one, it's a leap.
That's so exciting. Congrats.
Yes, thank you. Anyways, so where was I going? Oh, but making that leap. And then also like when we're doing indie things, like a lot of the beginning stuff, it's like just kind of like you and your partner, or like right now it was me for the longest time, and then like me and my co-writer, and then it became me again. And then now me and my co-producer who's also acting in the film. So it's nice to have definitely someone to talk about things. But in terms of like figuring out what you need, like with indie films, there's never one way to get it done, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so I need to figure out the budget and the schedule at this point, because I'm going to start talking to actors and start talking to maybe a DP, or like figuring out, when, also just planting the flag and having dates. But if you like only have so much money in the beginning, it's like, well, you can't really hire this person to inform this, or like, it just comes a little murky. So in terms of thinking about like, I think it's important to kind of have these types of, ideas or conversations and get an idea of like what type of film you're making, and then like how many people you need to bring in. Because I don't know off the top of my head, but it's like kind of thinking about like even just this conversation here of like, okay, what type of like how many grips or gaffers should I allow in the budget, in the budget? Because obviously like there's also line producers, but sometimes too, I find that they're not as flexible, or like they don't see things the way that I do. Like I know, because I also shoot where I'm from, like in Ohio, and the way that like just my brain works, I'm like, well, I know that we can do this for this amount of budget, or like this actually costs less than you think it costs. But yeah, just trying to like figure out what is needed for the amount of people to pull off your vision, and also thinking about how to budget accordingly, how to like how many days to allow and things like that.
And I think like the toughest part about indie films like that is every DP has such a different way of working. So line producer could budget and say, well, I've done that before with this crew.
Right.
And then you could have a DP who comes in and is like, well, I don't know if I can make that work. But also I think that's also always the problem. Like producers always say that. They say, like, well, I have this person who can do it for this. And then you get into this whole conversation of like, okay, well, this is the people that I work with and I trust them.
Right.
So like, how can we bridge the gap?
Right.
And make it work?
Yeah.
Because
like
everybody works in such different ways.
No, that's so true. And maybe that's also why I find that like sometimes I don't always trust what line producers say, because everyone, we're kind of all working on like what we know before. Yeah. And I do think, especially like the older ones, they don't know how to get as creative with the budget, or like have types of conversations like this. Like I try to get people in as early as possible, to be like, what do you need? So that way I can budget for it.
Yeah.
And definitely also allowing like that contingency or like extra, money in certain places. So for times like that, where it's like, I'm telling you, these people that I have will be worth the extra. Is there a way we can make this work? Even if it's like one less body or, taking from this other thing.
Yeah.
And again, with like informing like from the story, like I had, did you ever see The Ugly Stepsister?
No.
It's just like a crazy body horror movie. But, they had their priority was the VFX, or not the VFX, the practical effects, and like making sure to put extra cushion in the budget that because that was the most important for that story and like what they had on their priority list. So it's also about the priority too of like where you want to put it.
Yeah, it's really interesting with, sometimes actors need more money and sometimes you need like...
Well, because sometimes the name is also what's getting you the money for the film.
Yeah.
But that's also not always the case anymore these days.
Yeah, and also like, when you need like fancier production design, you need money for that. Yeah,
Do you work
really
with your
funny,
production design or the production designer, depending on the movie a lot?
Yeah. I'm always bugging the production designer.
Okay.
Because I tend to, as a DP, I tend to use less color lights and more having color in the frame.
I like that,
because of like the set decorations or wardrobe. So I work closely with our costume designers, production designers, prop masters, set decorators, like, because I want to make sure we're all on the same page and we're all on the same like color palette.
Definitely.
It's so important. Like A Wounded Fawn.
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
There's no color light in it. Every lighting is tungsten or like 5600.
But it's so colorful.
And it's because of production design. Yeah. And because of the costumes and the blood and
yeah. Well, no, I mean, there really is so many shots, and it's also like because there's a lot of artwork in that film that informs the story. It seems like that allows to bring a lot.
Yeah.
Because I'm already picturing like multiple frames that are so rich with color. So that's cool. But are you the one who's deciding that kind of like color palette to begin with, and then moving into the other conversations and seeing how you can all get on the same page?
I feel like it's definitely project per project, but mostly it's like me and the director would talk.
Okay.
I feel like I never really make that decision alone. It's always a conversation or it's a suggestion. I say, hey, what if we do that? That would be cool.
Yeah.
I also love changing danger colors, because most of the time in films, danger color is always red. But like in Motherland, our danger color was pink. And so we really we worked a lot with a production designer on the exact hue of pink.
Oh, cool.
And we went back and forth a lot, just like picking out the right pink color.
And then when you get into post, are you making sure that they're maintaining that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm always trying to be in the color room for like as many days as possible. If like schedule allows, I will be there.
Yeah.
Because I think color is everything.
Yeah.
You can turn a very dark movie into a soap opera looking movie like that.
Yeah.
You really can. So I think it's really important. I mean, in all my contracts, it always says like that I should have some kind of say, and I should be in the color room.
Nice.
I think it's like crucial.
Did you know that from the beginning, or was that like a lesson you learned?
Thankfully, I haven't really had that happen to me where I've been excluded from color.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I have had that happen on like music videos or commercials, which commercial work, it does happen quite a lot, which is kind of, it's just what it is.
I also feel like with that, like post-production's always somewhere else, like, or it's just like they're always all over the place.
Yeah. But now I'm like with my agent, I always make sure that that's in my contract.
Nice.
But, like, not that I have final say on color, but I'm invited into the color room.
Definitely.
That they want my feedback because it is my work,
Right.
And
no, I mean, I at least know, like, as a director, not DP, that like other DPs are seeing in, more color or like something more specific than I'm seeing. I'm just like, it looks good.
But that's what's great is like you should have your DP there because they might see something and then they change it and you as a director look at it and you go, oh my God, that is a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like,
no, 100%.
Or translating, like with my recent director I worked with, I love her. She's very much off like vibes, you know, like, oh, I want this to have this vibe.
Yeah.
And then I'm there to translate whatever she's saying into color language.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, I think that's what you mean. Let's try that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's make this less saturated or make that more blue or whatever.
Yeah. Well, that's, I mean, essentially all the conversations I've ever had is that like, I've never like, I couldn't tell you about like the lenses or anything like that. I'm not making those choices. They are, because I'm like, this is the emotion of the scene. This is what we're getting across. This is how she feels right now. Like, and then, you know, they'll be like, well, okay, well, what about this? And I'm like, yes, like that's exactly what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Or, you know, I love just doing references to whether that's like mood boards or even just like actual scenes of like the coverage or, the look of it or the framing, things like that.
Totally. I love to do that. I make like 3 lookbooks usually. I make like the initial lookbook and then we go through it and then the director's like, yes, no, yes, no.
Yeah.
And then we do another pass and then we still do more selects and then we do a third one that I usually distribute to like everybody just so we're all on the same page. Because I think the biggest mistake you could make is to show up on set and then you start lighting and the director looks at the frame and goes, oh, that's not the look. That's not what we talked about.
Oof.
You know, I feel like, just going into something where you have a clear plan and have a clear vision that you could tell all your departments about, I think that's like key.
Yeah, definitely.
And then also you lose time relighting and then you have to talk about it again.
I just got overwhelmed and anxious just even like hearing that. Like, oh no, yeah.
Well, can you imagine you show up on set?
I can't, no.
And your DP is like,
you're like,
something
that's
completely
not
different.
it. Yeah, no, that's terrifying. That's like, I always have nightmares about, because we did Shakespeare in acting school and I did theater before I got into film, and I always have nightmares that I'm doing Shakespeare and I don't know my lines.
Oh my God.
Because I feel like that's like the biggest nightmare, but that's like a similar feeling.
It's a terrible nightmare.
Yeah, of like showing up and you only have so much time and everything's wrong and you're like, that's no.
I just randomly had a nightmare of me being an actor like a month ago and then coming in and not knowing my lines. And then director was really upset with me.
Yeah. I mean,
I haven't acted in like 15 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know why.
It's been some time. I mean, there
me.
are still actors who show up not knowing their lines, though.
Yeah.
You know, they kind of know the essence, so it sells it a little better. But then, anyways, that's a different story. Wait, I wanted to ask a question about, prep in terms of, because shortlisting is usually like up to the director, right? So how are you kind of figuring out how you want to best prep while still having to work around the director's prep?
I feel like I work a little different than most DPs.
Okay.
Because I love to shortlist with the director.
Oh, I thought that's what we're supposed to do.
But I think
that's what I've always done.
Well, I think a lot of times director would have a shot list.
Okay.
And then you bring it to the DP.
Got it.
And then you like morph it and change it a little bit. I like to come in like initially.
Yeah.
And then we do it all together.
That is what I've done in the past. But again, I've kind of had the luxury of like being friends with my DP.
Yeah.
So, you know, we have those conversations where we just met up and then it's like, okay, let's go scene by scene. Like, what are we thinking and feeling? And most of the time we already were thinking the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I think, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I think most of the time, most of the way that people work together is director makes a shot list and then the DP comes in and then they kind of like go through it
together.
But I like to just go from the very beginning.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's too just like kind of having that conversation before of like, how do you like to work? How do you like,
like in an interview, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Like, what's your ideal way of working? Or like, how can we essentially figure out our best way to work together?
Yeah, because I'm sure there are some directors that really just want to do it themselves.
Yeah.
And then have like notes on it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I do have like shots in my head that I definitely, you know, am seeing in terms of like the vision, but like in terms of like breaking it down by like actually writing it down in a shot list format, like I like to do that with my DP. But I guess, beforehand, I'm obviously thinking about how I want it.
Totally.
It also just depends on how much prep you have too. Like I've had so much time to prep with this one, so I've had time to overthink a lot, which is good. But also, you know, sometimes there is like a lot of creative choices, like in a good way, that come out of that pressure or that like fast paced. Like my first feature moved so fast. Like we finished the script in like March or April and then shot in August. It was crazy.
God.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. So what's your like ideal prep length on a film?
Honestly, the more the better.
Yeah.
I think prep is so important. I think I could prep for months. I feel like there's never enough prep. I've done prep where it's been 6 weeks. I've done prep that was 2 weeks.
Yeah. And is that like full on prep, or is that like, here and there, or just like small discussions until you're like...
That's like full on, like we're in an office.
Got
like
it.
we all have an office. We're in a building together. We talk about the movie. We go to each other's offices and chat about color and whatever. Yeah, I mean, I have I have lots of friends that work on like majors and they have 3 months of prep.
Yeah.
4 months of prep. I'm like, that sounds so lovely.
Yeah.
Because I think no matter what kind of movie you're shooting, you're always gonna feel rushed when you're in production.
Yeah.
But in pre-production, you get this luxury of really dissecting and making the plan. And so I think like as much as you can do that.
Yeah. And even though like a lot of times it gets thrown out the window, I think even having all of those conversations and time to marinate on things and overthinking and stuff like that all helps, because then when you're there on the day, it's like whatever is informing you right in front of you is going to make your choice. Like having thought about it for so long is really like key.
I think that's the way to do it, is you have a plan and then you show up on set and you could be ready to throw it all away.
Yeah.
Because again, like magic, sometimes you show up on set and the actors do something completely different.
Yeah.
And you think to yourself, this is so much better.
Yeah.
So then now you have to, reshot list on the day. But again, I think it makes such a better movie that way.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask too, and because, we were talking about earlier about wanting to see what the actors do first. Do you ever work on movies where there is a rehearsal period before getting to set?
I think most movies I've done have had rehearsals. Yeah.
With the actors?
Yeah.
Nice. And then you're there to kind of see what they're doing first?
Yeah.
And then what does that look like? Are you just taking notes, or do you actually have your camera and are kind of trying to capture stuff?
It's mostly just we're in a room and we just imagine and we see, how things kind of
play out.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the times we do that with intimacy scenes. Like last movie we did, because there's so many sex scenes, we had a whole day with our intimacy coordinator just going through that before we went to set.
Yeah.
And so we were like figuring out positions that work, like, oh, well, if her right leg is up, it actually will look better for the shot.
Yeah.
Or there's a lot of, hiding like modesty patches.
Right.
And all that kind of stuff. So I think that takes a lot of planning.
Yeah.
So that's always useful, Or I've done rehearsals on like smaller movies where maybe you don't have as much time. We would still do like a stunt rehearsal.
Okay, yeah.
Or rehearse one of those scenes that are very complicated.
Just before cameras are rolling.
Yeah.
And then is Wounded Fawn the only feature that you've done that's on film?
No, I've done another movie on film called Eugene the Marine.
Okay.
It's on, you can stream it on Letterboxd.
Oh, nice.
Because they do like special releases on movies.
Yeah.
So this month it's Eugene the Marine.
Oh, hell yeah.
So that was also on 16.
Oh, dope.
Yeah.
Have you worked with a director who hasn't shot on film before but wanted to?
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of directors that have done the digital movies with all really itch to shoot on film. And I do so much film, so I'm always game. And I think if the budget allows, I try to convince them to shoot on film too.
But so these directors that you've worked with, though, they had shot on film previously?
No, they haven't.
No, they didn't.
Yeah.
Okay, so were you kind of like the person that they were going to then to help?
Yeah, I think that's like most of how it, like all the movies of, which I guess has been 2 on film, the directors have not shot on film before.
Okay, cool.
And that's why they really went to me, because they needed somebody who felt very confident.
Yeah. Well, again, hiring someone that knows better than you.
Yeah. So it's like, let me guide you
Yes.
into the world of film. And, it's like little things that you don't know, like checking the gate and reload time.
Yeah.
Things that you just have to kind of learn as you go, because it's so different from shooting digital. I mean, that's why I love film so much, is because of the process on set. I mean, I think it's obviously so gorgeous, and the texture and the color you get, skin tones, all that is beautiful. But also, I love the discipline it takes to shoot on film and be on set.
Yeah.
I think everybody just is a bit more locked in.
Yep.
Actors are more locked in. They know they have limited amount of takes.
Yep.
I think everybody it's like you have a presence on set that's something different, right?
Yeah, that's what me and Tom talked about on our episode. And I might have mentioned it on a different one too, but it actually reminds me of theater acting.
Yeah.
Where like you just feel a presence with you, like you have an audience essentially. And even if it's not like a human being, like you feel it, and it elevates your performance. It elevates the whole environment around you. It's crazy magical. I love it.
Yeah. And there's like this element of surprise. I mean, you always know what it's going to look like, but sometimes there's little surprises that come. And I think that's also really fun. And I don't know, like waiting for the dailies and so many sleepless nights of like, oh, I hope there's no hair in the gate. On The Wounded Fawn, we had one shot that had huge hair in the gate.
Oh, what is that even like? What happened? Or like, how did that look then?
Well, it's just like, a little lint or something that gets stuck to the gate. The hair, because the gate is so small, the hair is really, really small. But we got very lucky because it was a shot of our main character who has a beard, and it was a very, very tight close-up. And the hair in the gate was just on those close-ups, and it's perfectly in his
like
beard.
mixed into his beard.
You can't see it.
That's incredible.
Unless you really look. I was like, whoa, we got so lucky.
Dang. Is there any lessons then you learned from shooting on film with that feature that helped prepare you for Eugene?
Yeah, I mean, I think I just became more confident.
Nice.
I think when you start shooting so much film, you almost forget that you are. You just get in the groove. And that always feels really great to have that. Like the rhythm. But yeah, I mean, I guess what I learned is just to like keep pushing the look. And I always overlight the film a little bit, which I think is always...
I mean, A Wounded Fawn, again, was so beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, there was so many shots that I was just like, oh,
thank you.
So pretty. Well, also, I think it just speaks to it as well, is that you were nominated against all of those DPs for the Fangoria Award.
So crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's incredible, but it's also well earned.
I'm always like, okay, like, I think I've peaked on my first movie. Like, I'm like, I gotta get better and better.
No, that's
it's
fun
really
though.
Funny.
But I guess it wasn't their first film, but I just know that like Dan Kwan has talked about that with Everything Everywhere.
Yeah.
Because that film was just incredible and swept all the awards. And he's like, well, shit, I think I peaked.
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel after that?
I guess it's great, right? It's not a bad thing.
Yeah, it's definitely
a
bad problem to have.
Yeah.
But as gorgeous as it is, I'm sure you have so much great work ahead of you. So
yeah, hopefully, yeah. But yeah, it's cool to like, because I am a big part of a horror community, and I go to so many like horror festivals and events, and it's cool to meet people that like know the movie, and are really excited to talk about it.
Oh, cool.
That's always like such a great feeling to be able to just chat about it and see that people like have watched it. And like...
Quick question that's so random and specific, but it's just because I'm selfishly asking for my own film. In terms of like working with a cat, or also those were real snakes, right?
Yeah.
And you're shooting on film though. Like, is that complicated of working with live animals while shooting on film? Because they don't understand that there's a limited amount of time.
Yeah. I mean, I think you just have to budget your like celluloid accordingly, and just say, this is going to be a complicated one and it probably won't work.
So just have extra.
On the first go. So you just like, you just have extra.
Yeah. Just make sure. That was something that I asked Tom on my episode, was like, help me with shooting ratios. How can I best budget for this?
I mean, have a shooting ratio that you feel comfortable in and confident. Like I on indies, I tend to do like 70-1.
Okay.
15-1. I feel like that is a ratio that feels really good, where we don't feel like we don't feel that limited, but there's still a little bit of limitation.
Yeah, I definitely know. I'm pretty sure I over budgeted, especially because we're supposed to be getting a discount. So I just don't remember what my ratio was, but I do think Tom recommended 10-1. So I'm gonna take your word for it. I would go, but I would go 15.
I
was like, he knows film so well. So I'm gonna
Because 10-1, it means it depends also how many characters you have. Because if you have an ensemble,
say too. He brought up stunts,
and also if you have an ensemble of, let's say you have a five people inside a scene, that means you have one wide.
And then if you're getting all the singles.
And then you get a single.
Yeah.
You can't do. Some people get 2 singles and some only get 1.
Yeah.
And then you get an extra wide and that's it.
Yikes. Yeah.
So that feels.
That's limited. Yeah.
And what if you want a 2-shot or.
Right.
That feels a
or
little
coverage
limiting.
or yeah.
But if it's like A Wounded Fawn, it's only 2 characters mostly.
Mm-hmm.
I think a 10-to-1 is workable. But you can always resell the film back. You know what I mean?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, snap. Didn't know that was an option. So definitely over budget then.
Kodak buys film back from you. It's not, you're not going to get it you're not going to get like a full refund, but they give you like 70% back or something like that.
That's nice though.
And then you don't have to, you're not processing, you're not scanning it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think having a little bit more that you can then resell is I think maybe that's the tip of the day. Get more film, buy more film.
So going off of 7 movies, 7 features, what are your like biggest takeaways from the process? Whether that's just like to the whole working operations of a set or specifically as a DP.
Yeah. I think the biggest takeaway is to work on movies that I'm inspired by and to take on projects that I have a calling to. I think when you're making a movie that you feel so connected with, it is a better movie.
100%.
And also like what I said earlier, just relying on your crew, relying on your producers and your directors and also knowing that every time you make a new movie, there's always going to be new things that you learn and new challenges, and just trying to take a deep breath and be mobile and like just let it all happen. Because I think when you've done so many movies, you keep thinking, oh, like I know what I'm doing. I've got this. There'll be no more surprises. And then you're like, oh my God, why is this happening? It's like there's always something new that comes up.
Yeah. So being ready for that.
Yeah. And also just like have fun.
I love that.
It's so cool that this is what we get to do for a living. We literally get to make movies. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
And I think remembering that and showing up on set, even though maybe you have a difficult day, like reminding yourself that you're so lucky and fortunate to be able to do that for a living.
Yeah.
Because I think we all have our moments where we get overworked and we get that burnout, and I think it's really important to have enough rest. So then when you actually do a film that you're really excited about, you're very present.
Yeah.
And you like do your best.
I love that. I didn't act like I essentially asked my last question, but just in case there's more you want to add, no pressure if not. But the last question I ask everyone is, what advice would you give to someone making their next film?
But am I giving advice to like directors
to their next film
or who?
Yeah, I think directors and or like just a filmmaker. So they could be a writer, director, or like I do feel like there are a lot of multi-hyphenates who are like, doing a multiple roles. If they're like actor, producer, or actor, director. Yeah.
I mean, I think the advice that I would give is to just listen to your gut and the movie you're making best. I think there's so many voices in the film industry that give you advice and tell you how to do certain things certain way, and I think you should just do it your way. Yeah, because that will make it the best film. And also just don't be afraid. It's like you get to make a piece of art. You should just go bold with it and not make it safe, because this is your artistic expression, right? And I think it's so important to just try things. And you could always edit them out of your movie, but I think you'll never regret trying things on set. Yeah, because safe also doesn't really, most of the time, it doesn't get you like cool places, playing safe. Yeah. It's just like, okay, so you made something like good, but like I feel like a lot of us are here to try to make something great. Yeah. Or at least aim for it. And I think maybe like the biggest real advice is to work with people that you trust and to have a team that is there and excited about your movie. It's so true. It's so important, because we've all seen that, crew that shows up and you feel like they don't want to be there. And especially on an indie project that feels like very passion project, and maybe some of it is self-funded. Like, I think you really, really need to have people that have your back and want to make a good movie. And they're not there for selfish reasons.
Definitely.
You know, people that can just uplift you and also like having a person on set where when you're stressed out, you look over at them and they're just like,
yeah, exactly.
And then you just like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, it's all gonna
remember
be okay.
to like have fun with it too. Like you said in your last, like you're making a movie. Like it's fun. Like when you get the shot, like how great is that? Like, you know, you're bringing something to life.
Yeah.
It's
and
magic.
Also like, I think it's so great that you made a movie that was like small budget. I think I see filmmakers spend $200,000 on a short.
That's crazy.
And I'm always like, just make a movie.
Literally I think most of my shorts have all been under 1,000.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So I know how to make a lot, like something look like it was made for a lot with very little.
Yeah. You're like, just make a movie.
Yeah. Figure out what resources you have and figure out how you can make the thing.
Because you never know where it's going to take you.
Yeah. But I do also think there's something to eventually like leveling up. That was like,
of course.
Because that was a big reason why I was like pushing for the budget. Because honestly, even like my vision and the ambition of this next movie should be a lot more in terms of the budget. But I'm like, no, this allows us to still have to be creative and resourceful and like it's still an indie set, but it now is like giving me a lot more resources and access to talent and talented crew and cast and people to surround myself with, and also just more people to bring it to life to really aim for the stars. And I do think it's going to look like it was made for a lot more than it is. So even though it sounds like a bigger budget compared to the last ones that I've made, like it's still low budget. It's still like indie, you know?
Yeah.
Even if it is 7 figures.
Yeah.
But very low 7 figures. But yeah.
I'm so excited for you.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh, I'm excited to see more of your work. So we can look out for Perfect soon after the festival route. Anything else we should be looking out for?
Yeah, Perfect. Eugene the Marine just came out.
On Letterboxd.
On Letterboxd. And all my other movies are out.
Yeah. So look her up and look them up. Yeah.
Go on my Instagram.
I found A Wounded Fawn on AMC Plus.
Oh, I'm like, I don't know. I think maybe it's on
Shudder.
Amazon. Oh, no, it's Shudder.
Yeah, it's Shudder. But you can also rent it too.
Yes.
But we were able to get it from the AMC streaming network. And the other ones you'll find on her website.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
It was lovely. If you're enjoying the next film and want to help us keep making the show, we're now accepting tax-deductible donations through our partner, the Alliance of Women Directors. This helps us keep sharing honest conversation, insights, and practical tools free and accessible to artists. The link is in the show notes, or you can visit allianceofwomendirectors.org/fiscal-sponsorship. This episode is brought to you by executive producer Jeffrey Weber.